Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and other Republican leaders are currently talking about a second reconciliation package, one that actually cuts spending. They're talking about a second rescission bill that would actually cut even more spending. But there's a reason that we should, of course, be skeptical. They're having challenges just getting the first rescission package, a $9 billion rescission package, passed in the Senate. $9 billion when we're in debt $37 trillion. If they really can't get $9 billion cut, what leads anybody to think that we're going to get more cut? And of course, Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, well, he had thoughts on the issue.
Mr. Chairman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Maria. Thanks for having me.
So let's first talk about the agenda and what you just heard from the Speaker of the House. Now, I know debt was a major problem for you, but ultimately you did acquiesce and got that big, beautiful bill across the finish line in the Senate. I want to get your take on what you just heard, another reconciliation package end of the year where they're going to try to get more spending cuts in there.
Well, it would require a special sort of surgical procedure where they would implant spines into members of the Republican caucus. I mean, they didn't have the spine to they didn't have the spine to cut the spending a month ago. What makes you think they're all of a sudden going to have spine next week or in a month from now? So I highly doubt that the Republican caucus, we don't have enough of us who are fiscally conservative. Look, we're going to have a test this week on cutting $9 billion. So you have a deficit of $2 trillion. $9 billion is just a rounding error. We should be able to do that in our sleep. But there is looking like there's enough opposition. We might not actually cut $9 billion. So I'm for cutting the $9 billion. I'm for cutting more. I wish the Speaker were right, but I don't think his assessment is correct.
Well, I've said it for years, and I will say it, I'm sure, 100 more times over the next year. The most important time during any election, whether it's a midterm election, a presidential election, the most important time is right now, during primary season. It doesn't matter if Republicans win elections if we keep sending rhinos to Capitol Hill. We're not going to get anything truly legitimately changed. We might get some victories here or there, but do you understand why we had to go with the quote-unquote big, beautiful bill? Why wasn't it the small, beautiful bill? That's what we really want if we had fiscal conservatives on Capitol Hill. We could have gone with something that wasn't so filled with pork, that didn't have so many fallbacks and punts and bribes, because it's really what it comes down to, bribing people to sign on to the bill. We could have cut back a ton if we had actual fiscal conservatives like Rand Paul in Capitol Hill, not just as outlier voices, but as actual lawmakers. Right now is the time. Primary season is by far more important than the general election. You could have every Republican majority that you want, but if you have rhinos on Capitol Hill dominating, as we do now, you're just not going to get anything done. They can't even get a $9 billion rescission package done. This should be a no-brainer. They should be smacking themselves in the Senate for being so weak that they can only get $9 billion done. Instead, they're struggling to even get that done. What does that tell us? It tells us again that right now, today, is the 2026 election. Right now, today is the most important time for the election. Primary out the rhinos, bring in some fiscal conservatives, some America First people, some MAGA people, true MAGA people, not just the people that are riding on the coattails, but actual people who really want to make America great again. That's who we need. And the only time to do that is not after the candidates have been selected. The time to do that is right now, before Republicans decide, are we going to send rhinos or are we going to send, I don't know, Republicans? Chances are very strong that if you watch various shows on conservative or alternative media that you've been told by some various show hosts about free or bonus silver that you will get if you work with their gold companies. Now, I don't blame necessarily these hosts. They just don't know exactly what they're offering. They're just saying what their sponsors tell them to say. Unfortunately for them, and more unfortunately for you, these offers are scams. They just are. And again, I'm not ripping on show hosts that are offering it. I've got a lot of friends that do it, and by golly, they do it for whatever reason they do it. I, on the other hand, work with a company that does not insult your intelligence by pretending to offer you $10,000 in free silver. I work with Augusta Precious Metals, and you can learn more about them, including how the free silver scam operates, by going to patriot.tv/silver. That is patriot.tv/silver.